But all I do know is every piece of information that you read, you have to try to figure out who it's coming from and why it's coming out. Like this Dallas Cowboys Dak Prescott information, the $105 million guaranteed, 33 a year contract that was just so leaked to somebody in the media or whatever, where that is 100% coming from the Dallas Cowboys. That is the Dallas Cowboys trying to show their fans like, hey, this is what we offered the guy. And now the Dallas Cowboys fans, if they read that, right, 33 million, 105 guaranteed, technically the richest contract in league history. If they read that, how it's presented to them, and Dak says no to that, you're automatically going to have a little bit of hard feelings towards Dak as opposed to the Cowboys. The Cowboys have to survive long past Dak, so and they've been there long before Dak, so they're going to have the people on their side. But when you leak that type of information, like, hey, we offered this dude $105 million, 33 a year, richest contract in NFL history, and he's saying no, basically. Immediately, PR war is won by the Cowboys. No matter what happens the rest of the way through, it looks as if Dak is acting spoiled, which, by the way, whatever Dak wants, I think Dak should try to get because he has been underpaid for whatever. Now, he hasn't gone into playoffs and won or whatever, so that's kind of a different animal. Have they won? No.
I don't think so.
No, he has not gone into playoffs and won. I don't think so.
They beat the Seahawks at home one game.
Dak did?
Yep.
Okay, so he has won in the playoffs.
Yep.
Okay, so he's won a game in the playoffs, has not made it further than that, but still great football player who deserves good money. Retired Tony Romo. So whatever the reason is that he's saying no to that contract, we would be intrigued to hear, but we never will unless his people decide to leak it. And that's just like the Tom Brady Patriots stuff. It all depends on who's leaking what information. It's all about just kind of rigging the narrative towards your side, and it's the NFL, NFLPA are doing it. It's all big business. It's all big business. That's why people who have a lot of money in the market are trying to rig against coronavirus narrative. And I don't think it's going well. School just shut down right over here on the west side of the city.
That's one of the things I've learned from you since coming over here. Like, when you were just a casual fan, you would see a headline like that and just move about your day and then think badly about Dak.
Immediately.
But now since you were in the league and you think differently than every other human on the planet, like, you have to think about where it's coming from, what angle they're trying to come at, and what makes them look best.
Yeah, and that's all it is, right? I mean, that's what that headline that Florio wrote on Pro Football Talk is accurate. And it spins a narrative before people can even read into anything else. And also, it's 100%, like, it's not that Florio's doing anything wrong here. It's that the Dallas is doing something right. The Cowboys are doing a PR move right. And I think that's where the players always lose. Just like in a CBA negotiation, normally in contract negotiation, the players always lose because they have a way of spinning it to make it look like the players look like the spoiled brats.
Do your agents tell you to not say anything during these negotiations? Because during the CBA, during contract negotiations, it always seems like the player is the one that's being quiet, and then the PR is always beneficial to the league or to the team.
Anytime you have lawyers involved, normally they tell you not to talk, right? Like, that's the first. Whenever I got for the alleged incident, I had the biggest lawyer in town showed up in the jail, right, to pick me up for my jail hearing or whatever they're processing. I don't know what the hell it is, that thing. And I remember his face so vividly because when I was a rookie, they had a bunch of people come speak to us. And this particular attorney came in and he said, if you ever see me again, it's not good, right? So then as soon as I get out of my solitary confinement and I go into the court thing and I see the guy, I'm like, oh, no. Here we are, we're back, right? This isn't good. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code Pay the Bills and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic. He represented Tyson. He's represented basically every court case in Indianapolis. This guy, Jim Boyles, he represents. And as soon as he saw me and we were walking out of the jail and everything like that, and I sat in his car, he gave me a card. And on the back of it said, don't say anything. And I was just like, okay, that's interesting. He was like, they already got your tweet out about bye week, whatever. Like, we need you not saying anything. We need you not doing that. I think that's just kind of how all lawyers because I would assume once you say something, the narrative could get twisted or your words could get twisted, especially in my particular case. Like, I couldn't come out and say anything. Now, granted, it was just a public intoxication. They couldn't really do anything, like 6 months in jail, I guess I was told. But that wouldn't happen to me because it was my first offense or anything like that. But I feel like the agents and the lawyers have had more go wrong for them when people speak than go right. So I would assume the safe option is always like, don't say anything. And if you're dealing with players who haven't necessarily been PR coached or things like that. Players could be saying things that they don't even know are making them look bad. So agents are always just like, I think, in the mindset that, hey, the less you say, the better, as opposed to anything else. Now, if somebody was to say it to me now, in my particular case, like that, I would be like, yeah, okay, sounds good. I'm probably better at this than you are. Go ahead and take a hike. But I think with a lot of players, they're told not to say anything because you don't want to mess anything up, right? Like, hey, let's not mess this up. Let's get this deal done. The agents are like, we'll be able to do that for you as long as you don't mess it up. Just don't say anything. But in the PR world, that doesn't make any sense. You have to at least leak some information to give your side of the case. Like, for instance, if Dak Prescott's people would leak just a little bit on why they're, the 105 or whatever is guaranteed, but it's not for until blah, 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 and it's also leaving out blah, blah, blah. Like, at least then it would make a little bit of sense. But anytime you're talking to basic humans, including myself, and I hear $105 million guaranteed, it's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
Hey, that's generational wealth, pal. Let's not get caught up in what Patrick Mahomes is potentially going to get paid, because you never want to leave your for show money looking for more money, because you might end up with no money.